Hi, I'm Mike Crabb.
And I'm Laurie Schultz. Welcome to the show.
We'll have some caffeinated conversation.
And maybe some special guests along the way.
Who knows where the conversation will go? You're out for coffee with Mike and Laurie.
Since this is technically Boxing Day, or this will air on Boxing Day, this is the time of year to reminisce about the past.
Yeah, I was
so looking back over this would be technically our first year of broadcasting episodes.
Yeah.
Which you were just reminding me are also podcasts for those who are not familiar with the idea that you don't have to sit down and watch YouTube.
The video's the main thing in my head, but a lot of people just do the podcast.
Yeah, sure. Oh.
Well, I've had people over the last little while say, I want to watch, I just don't have time. I'm like, it's a podcast. And they're like, it is?
Yeah.
Listen.
So you can listen if you're... So you can shut us off right now if you want.
Right.
If you've had enough. Just shut us off and
who gets enough of this?
Go to the podcast version and just listen if you really don't want to watch.
Stop it.
But yeah, this has been now an entire year.
Don't do this to my chair!
Full calendar year.
Almost 26 episodes, I guess.
It's 24.
This one will be 25.
Oh, this will be 25, yes.
Yeah,
So,
because then one in January will be
we-
the full year.
Yeah.
did we start that early in January? Obviously, we did.
The first episode came out January 26th because it was the day after my birthday. Yeah.
Oh, right.
The cat's on cord.
Harry! Actually, Rob, if you lift up that Santa hat,
And we'll just put it on top of the way.
well, there's the spritz bottle. I can take that.
Okay.
And we might have to,
As long as you're not spritzing me, I guess.
oh no,
I
he
have to
knows.
Spritz the cat.
Get your beverage, Rob? Get your
Yes, I shall
beverage?
in just a moment.
Okay.
I was just
We
trying
got a
to
little lapdog.
get the conversation.
Okay. We should thank everybody for their year of
We should.
patronage
Yeah.
So
and
thank
viewership.
you to everyone. Thank you. Who's taking the time to tune us in and
And those of you who took the time to tune us out.
tune us out. Exactly. Yeah, we've had. We've had certainly some interesting episodes this past year. In like different formats too. We've tried a number of different formats, haven't we? Obviously, the Zoom thing seems to work well for us.
Still my
When
favorite.
Laurie can get the
It's,
tech working, then it's a
Well,
perfect.
that's the other challenge is just trying to get Laurie connected.
There's my Wi-Fi
I
right
know.
there, so
It's
I don't
right
understand.
There. And probably before I'm gone tonight, I should probably have to do something with it. But anyway,
Just have a look at my settings. Maybe do you know enough about do you know MacBooks?
Well, a little bit.
Does that mean a lot?
A little bit.
Does that mean a lot though? I don't know.
A little bit.
I don't know. Like people
Anyway,
are like, well, a good
Yeah,
tech
well,
person.
we've certainly, and we have had our tech challenges this year.
We have.
Not the least of which involved flooding out a MacBook, right?
It was an expensive year.
That was an expensive
Man,
episode.
It was
if
a
we
solid 16 minutes, though.
if we had got a business license, I could have expensed that.
Yes.
For next year, something to grow into.
There you are. Maybe next year. That's what.
Pour a bottle of wine over the next one.
I'll make it worth it.
We should be recording
But
this.
those were.
Are we recording
They're
this?
just. I think the cameras are going. Yeah. This was. That was, a hiccup along the way. One of the things we learned, but then we did. We did the in-person thing, right?
Yeah.
We went out to.
Yeah, our first gig in person.
Our first in person was where out at which one was that?
YFM with Bernia.
With Bernia, who was
Yeah.
such a great guest.
Yes,
great
she
guest.
was. Actually, she was very good.
Rock star.
And very easy to talk to. And I certainly enjoyed sort of walking around the store and following her because she has such a passion for everything she's got in that place.
Yeah.
She knows, who makes it, like, in person.
Yeah.
She knows personally who makes that cheese or whatever.
It makes you want to buy it.
And yeah, well, sure, she got quite a connection to a community that way,
Right.
and I thought it was quite interesting to find out those kind of backstories behind all the stuff she's got in there because it's a much bigger place than I thought it was.
Right?
When we went in there.
Yeah, even from the outside looking in, you're like, okay, and then you go in and you see everything that's in there, and it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
Are we wanting to do
was.
like a formal opening?
We
And
could
welcome our guests?
We could do that. You know what? I thought maybe we'd kind of just chit chat a little bit, and then if we find that we really need to go back and do a form, we can do that at the end,
Okay.
and I'll just tag it on.
I just threw it right in there,
Yeah,
too.
yeah, no, that's quite all right.
Okay.
That's quite all right. No
That's what
point in-
happens. This
That's
is
right.
the
Might as well
off
ask.
the cuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and there's a whole. This is a whole different thing than we've done before.
Yep.
Like I'm totally out of my element.
Well, me
Because-
too, because I'm
'cause
like, I feel like I need to...
I'm on the wrong side of these cameras, and
Well, maybe it's the
you know,
right side of the camera now, Rob.
and of course the pup wants to come and sit on my lap, which is nice.
I'm drinking grape juice.
And sorry, yeah, usually I don't get to sit on this side of the camera. So,
Well, we're happy to
this
have you.
Well,
We
thank
are.
you. I'm happy to be had.
What? What? So much for a family show.
Family show.
I think we called that one off a while ago.
Yeah, I think that might have missed it at some point.
Probably.
But that's all part of the growth and understanding. So I think, we've had like some really interesting opportunities this past year to, well, I'm going to just start by saying I'm really grateful that we've had the opportunity to do these things because
Yeah.
everything we have done has not been work for me. Like I've just really enjoyed having the opportunity to spend this time with you guys.
Yeah, me too.
And for everything that you've done, Rob, to like set it up. So that's all I had to do was show up and do my bit. Certainly allowed me to enjoy it in a different way than I had originally thought we would. So I'm really
Sure,
grateful you've
sure.
come along
Oh,
to
it's-
help us with all this stuff. But like, I was just thinking like, what would my year have looked like without Out for Coffee? And I feel like it would have been very boring.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
right?
Well, and add to the fact that there were so many other things not happening this past year,
Right.
right? So
Which is kind of why we started doing this to begin with.
yeah,
Right?
without
To fill a hole.
right.
Well, and everything was so inconsistent the past year and a half. It was nice to have
Yeah,
this
bizarre.
as a consistency. I always knew that I had you guys to look forward to hanging out with and hopefully getting out and meeting people like Bernia and Kate and Elio in person and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So it really made this year a lot more bearable.
Yeah.
And it just feels like it was just a couple of weeks ago that we did that set at the Emporium. Remember where we did like 4 episodes in an afternoon at the Emporium? That was
Right,
March.
Right.
Yes, it was.
Yike.
Weird.
I know that seems like a long time, doesn't it?
And then
Right?
we had the location on your deck.
Yes.
For our
yes,
BFF
we went,
episode
we went and
with
sat out on the
Susie
deck. Had
and
lovely
Alyssa.
weather that day, as I recall.
Yes.
It was lovely.
We'd love to have that weather
Minimal
again.
lawnmowers. There's just
true.
the one
No, we
person
didn't.
building
There
a
was a
fence or
cicada
something.
though that I was going to punch right in the mouth.
That we didn't really
Shut
have.
up.
We didn't really have too much interruption. Did we?
No,
Can you punch a cicada in the mouth?
I don't know.
Does a cicada have a mouth?
You just tell it to buzz off.
They were. Oh,
There you
that's
go.
bad. Yeah, but it was nice. For something different.
Yeah.
For sure. Just for a different location, I guess.
Right?
And the Greg Morton stuff.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was
fun.
funny.
Our
That
hanging
was
out
so
with
funny.
Greg
He's
a couple of
character.
times.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And of course, it was very cool to tie, the very obvious, connection between all the two of you and Greg
Right.
with Oxford's Got Talent.
Yeah.
That was kind of undone on purpose, obviously, but yeah, he was a great guest, a lot of fun,
And it was like
and
kind of validating too that he enjoyed himself so much that he asked to come back and
yes,
like wanted
that's
to be
right,
in it
he did.
again, right? Like
yeah,
that's
when
Yeah.
Greg came back.
right, yeah.
Yeah, and it was very relaxed. I thought, we weren't really trying to put him on the spot
Right.
as a quote unquote performer, which I'm sure he gets a lot.
Well, I'm sure he was expecting to show up that first episode and us being like, go,
Go,
and like
yeah,
just
yeah.
do your
Right,
thing,
Do your thing.
right? So it's nice that it was more of a
It was,
kickback.
it was very, very laid back and very conversational, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too what you're saying too that it's been like pretty laid back. Like that episode was laid back, but like I have found that for the most part, we've had lots of laughs and giggles, but for the most part, it's been like stress free and laid back. I'm gonna say probably the only episode that I remember that I wasn't necessarily laid back was the early bird episode of Kate and Elliot because I was flying with caffeine. Like, if you rewatch that, I am like a hummingbird, and I'm like, oh, Mike, dial it back a moment. But the coffee was that good.
Coffee's great.
Coffee was there.
It was worth it.
And they're open.
They're open now. That's right.
The new location is open.
Yeah.
And I've been there several times.
You were there
Surprise,
today. I was there today.
Yeah.
Rob's going in tomorrow, I guess.
I have to go in tomorrow probably because I haven't been there yet, and
Yeah.
I'm anxious to go
It's a
and
beautiful place.
see what they're doing. But there's another couple of great guests who, were very comfortable, very relaxed, easy to talk to.
Yeah.
And but I think the approach the two of you take, where you kind of have a bit of a knack to just put people at ease, and you get them talking about what they're passionate about. And, like Kate and Elio, just boom, all you had to do is kind of feed them enough and away they go. And
Yeah.
they could talk about coffee and roasting it and baked goods and stuff, I'm sure, for a lot, all day. And I think that's what makes or that's what seems to have made the show enjoyable, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so with being locked up the past 2 years, essentially, it's like I've typically been an outgoing person. I can talk in front of a group of people, no problem. And then suddenly we're like stuck at home, and I grew some social anxiety. So now when I'm around a group of people, it's like doing things to me.
I just grew. I've been eating my way through this pandemic.
Yike.
Anyway, sorry.
But it was nice to have these moments that to have this as kind of an opportunity to get comfortable with conversation and back into just feeling good about having these one-on-one moments with people, especially when there's a camera there, because it's very nerve-wracking.
There's a camera here?
This whole time you didn't know a thing.
I thought it was just a teddy bear. It's a nanny cam.
It's a nanny cam that I recorded on over
Hidden
there.
behind the elephant plant there. Whatever it is.
But it's been nice that this has been giving me the opportunity to just get comfortable with stuff like this, because I feel like it's really helped me in a lot of things in my personal life and talking to people and doing presentations and stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah, for
it's
sure.
opened some doors for me. So that's another thing I'm really grateful for all this. It's been a really fun year.
It has been a fun year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who thought they would have said that about 2021?
Right? We're loving it. I don't know what's going on with you guys, but we're having a great time. But really, I said this to Mike the other day. I can't imagine doing this with anybody else.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
It has been a lot of fun, I must say.
It has been.
I've certainly enjoyed myself.
You have to excuse me for a second.
Yeah, the cat's going for
Harry?
some wires.
Oh.
Well, watch your hand there, Rob. I'm going to squirt him in the bum.
So for our audience, there's some lovely microphone cables hanging
Got 'em.
down that
Yeah.
Rob set up, and Uncle Harry is
Cat
finding it to be a
Cat.
toy.
Quite intrigued by the
always-
cables hanging out the
It's always
side
good
of
to
the
remind
chair.
people that Uncle Harry is a cat.
Right.
Just say Uncle
Uncle
Harry's
Harry
on the
behind the
ground,
couch there.
swatting at Rob's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cables. Careful.
Yeah, the cat.
Did I tell
He's a
you
cute cat, though.
that happened to me? I think I was at the Charles Dickens restaurant, and I just got Uncle Harry. I had him maybe for 2 weeks, and I was out for dinner with a friend, and I was telling my friend that Uncle Harry, he's obsessed. He's orally fixated. He always has to lick or bite or have something in his mouth. So I was telling my friend, Uncle Harry, oh my God, Uncle Harry's a real licker. He licks my face in bed every night, just as the waitress is coming and handing me the food. And she stops and she looks at me, and I said, perhaps now's a good time to let you know that Uncle Harry is my cat.
Cats, yeah.
She's like, I don't judge, no judgment.
Now you may have shared that story before, but I didn't realize it was at the Dickens.
Yes. Did I share that story before? I
You
don't know.
might have. I think
I
it
gotta
was
get some new material.
one of our embarrassing episode moments, maybe, perhaps. So,
Okay,
if
well,
it's new to you, make sure you check out our embarrassing moments episodes, because Laurie's got all sorts of that.
if it's not new to you, cross-reference to make sure I didn't lie. I'm sorry, I just keep hearing myself jingle, and I think it's really annoying, so I'm going to take it off.
Oh, I was
Oh,
digging
I'm
it.
gonna put it on.
Is that you doing the
That's
jingle?
me.
I wondered, okay.
I'm going to take it
I thought
off.
maybe the cat was wearing a bell or something.
No, that's just Laurie.
That's just Laurie. Okay.
Yeah, I think something cool, feedback-wise. So I've received a lot of amazing feedback. I know you guys have received some wonderful feedback about the show too. But some of the kind of moments that really stuck with me where we were talking about somebody that might be a future guest on the show with us, and who was saying how nervous she was about doing something like this, but she had just watched our BFF episode with Alyssa and Susie, and we were sharing on that episode how nervous Alyssa was because this is very much outside of her comfort zone, right. And but Alyssa said no. She knew it was going to be fun, and she did it. And as she did it, she realized, it's just sitting around having conversation, and how much fun it was, which inspired this person to say, yes, I'm going to do an episode with you guys. So I think there's a really lovely message in there to say it's okay to step outside your comfort zone and do something a little different. And I'm really proud of us for being able to provide that opportunity for Alyssa to do something like that. But the message behind that and what people realize that it's Laurie says it all the time. Get over yourself.
Just get over yourself, for God's sake.
Yeah, right? We need to. We just need to relax and just do what we love doing.
And we're not scary.
Exactly.
We're pretty.
Yeah, on the surface. On the surface.
I mean,
you didn't see the bodies in her closet. Oh my God.
Once you get in here,
there's
good luck.
Hotel California.
No coming out.
You're not getting over there.
Yike.
This grape juice is so good.
Yeah, so you got grape juice.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got apple juice.
I do have apple juice.
I got fruit punch. Is
That's
that
a
what we're
urine
doing?
sample. That is not apple juice. Rob, you need some more water in your diet. I don't know if the camera can see that, but that is an amber color.
Oh, good gravy.
Yeah. I was taking some notes here, but I think I'll...
Some health notes? More water in diet.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll have some
Well, how
apple
about
juice.
just a little cheers here?
Cheers to a wonderful
Clinkety
first
clink.
year
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It's been great.
out for coffee. We still need to start our spin-off out for cocktails.
Out for cocktails. I think this is episode 1.
Is this how it starts?
This is
This
the
is how it
the
starts.
crossover
I feel like
episode.
I should be a couple more drinks in, and then you'll really see the effects of out for
It's the
cocktails.
crossover episode. Uh-oh. My wires are showing. I'm gonna detonate. Uh-oh. Got to get the bomb technician in here to
Clip the wires in.
We'll see how this episode ends. Oh dear.
Yeah. Okay, let's go there. Looking back at this year and the episodes we did, what would we do differently?
I would not.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to raise my keyboard and my MacBook a little bit higher than the surface level of the table.
Yes.
Because I learned the hard way that liquid doesn't do the Mac any justice,
Well,
really.
there's that. Yeah, for sure. Get it out of the flood zone.
What episode was that?
It was in the middle of the year.
It would have had to have
It's
been.
like
I'm guessing
April.
12.
July.
That's a
No, it was
guess.
April.
So was it
It
that
was
early?
in April, yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, for those who didn't see it, we have a 16-minute episode you can check out where I was getting all animated. I was getting upset about smokers.
In the drive-thru. Smokers in the drive-thru is
drive-thru.
too much for Laurie.
And I just went ballistic and knocked my giant coffee over right onto my MacBook.
It was like the biggest coffee thing ever, too.
And I was so
It was
excited. I
game
was
o-
telling
it
you
was
off
game
air
over.
about, look at this cup. This is my favorite cup. I'm so excited about this cup. And now I use a tumbler.
Uh-huh.
Emphasis on tumble.
I'm just I'm just grateful it was you and not me. Now, what would I do differently? I'm going to say not a thing, because we needed those moments to
Yeah.
learn.
Well, that's very true.
And I think that
That's
everyone
very true.
just wants everything to be perfect right away, and you're going to get all the followers,
wrong
and people are going
show.
to and everything just comes quickly, and it's I think, oh, hello. I think it's Meaty's on it.
Oh, the
Now,
dog.
Officer
He's
Meatloaf, he's going to police
the
the...
dog's gonna. You go and get the cat.
Oh, you're not petting him enough
You
now.
go get
Police.
the cat. Yeah. No, well, now I don't have my iPad on my lap. See, so,
That's right.
So this is a good
now
place for
it's-
me.
Yeah. There you go. Is that better?
No, you're right. We need those mistakes.
I think
Come
that
sit
there's
over
some
here.
charm
Come
in
sit
that
beside
too.
me. There you go. Right there. Right there.
I like that we've just figured it out as we went, and we're still figuring it out as we go.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you betcha. There's still, live and learn. One thing that most people don't know, sort of the behind the scenes thing. Remember the episode we just did very recently with Kate and Elio. And when I got all of the raw footage back to, editing, something had gone terribly wrong. And I think we had just a bad cable, or there was a bad connection. and it took some serious mucking about, shall we say, to get that audio back to where it was, sort of usable and be able to listen to it. And one of the things I've learned is check and double check, and I do actually still run. I always have run a backup. Okay. But it might not be a bad idea to have a backup of the backup.
Can't have too many backups.
Well, that was smooth sailing though, Rob, because
ultimately it turned out well.
Yeah.
And it was okay in the end.
Right.
But those are one of those things that live and learn, as you say.
that was an episode that almost didn't happen. And
That's true.
That's something that you
at
guys
one
don't
point.
know out there is that the
At
panic that ensued that morning.
Exactly. And I have to admit, again, I'm sort of telling stories out of school here, but people who are watching, they'll understand.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I actually sent a note to you guys saying we might actually have to think about reshooting this episode. And that was, believe you me, there was a couple of very late nights and early mornings to get me to the point where I had to throw in the towel and say, we better think about reshooting this. However, not to be, daunted by a challenge, once I dug in my heels and we found a way to get around things and it worked out well.
You pulled it off, Rob.
But, but those are the things that when you're doing, because technically what we're doing is basically live.
Right.
We just kind of turn things on and away we go and you guys do your thing and it's certainly not scripted. I think most people
this would be a different thing.
most people watching understand that much at least to know.
That's why I got fired from the news job.
It's definitely not scripted.
This is not an editorial.
And although we do record it and do some minor editing, I honestly don't typically do a lot, so that we can broadcast it typically on Sunday mornings.
Right.
So from that perspective, it's not really live.
Right.
Yeah, it's not aired live, but it's
not aired
recorded live.
But yeah, it's recorded live. So basically, when I hit go, whatever happens, happens. And
yes, it does.
No taking it back.
And we have had a few of those too. I mean,
Yeah.
not just from a technical standpoint.
We have one reserve episode that has not yet been aired.
Yes, you might see what we have dubbed the back pocket episode,
Yeah.
ready to come out.
If we ever have another emergency, here it comes. But
It
that
almost
is a
came in
last resort.
Yike.
You almost saw the Kate Nellio week.
Yeah, it almost came in
Thankfully,
then.
Rob pulled it off.
No, so I will say, because I know that was a difficult message for you to send to us to say,
Well,
I don't know if this is going to
It's
work.
not something. Yeah, it's not something I did lately, to be quite honest with you.
Right.
I mean, I didn't want to really, jump to conclusions like that. But hey, it was what it was.
Well, I appreciate that you did let us know.
Yeah, well.
But very much appreciate that I don't know what you did to make it work.
But it
But
worked.
it was, I almost consider that like a bit of a test of
True.
how cool am
True.
I going to be through the fact that
True.
we just spent that night for
Oh, I know.
possibly nothing.
Exactly.
And it was it's fine.
Yeah. Oh,
When we do stuff like this, that's going to happen with
I knew it would be.
Right.
I would be fine, and you
And
guys.
Kate and Elliot were so great about
you
it
guys
too.
would be troopers, and away we would go, and we just chalk it up to experience. But looking back, again, out of 20, what did we say?
This is
It's
going to be
gonna be
number
like
25.
So that was episode
So out of
23.
25 episodes, that's every second week. That's an entire year now. That's not bad, really.
Oh my goodness, not at all, right?
To have sort of maybe one hiccup where it might have, and even then it didn't really happen. So
Right. Well, and I think too, when we were first kind of talking about this idea and getting things started, I had anticipated, in my head, what I was picturing was us having moments, and it was going to be very heavily edited down to moments.
Right.
And the conversation just started to flow, and we got stronger and stronger at it each time we've done it, I think. And I'm very proud that we're now at this point where we do kind of consider it a live show in a way, because we just, again, that get over yourself, just what happens, happens. And I think there's some beautiful messaging in there of just like, let life be life. And enjoy it, and don't stress out about it.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta enjoy it.
Right? And it's just like, it's gotten me to a point where it's just okay to just share and be in the moment.
Yeah.
And not worry about what's happening.
I've heard some feedback from people who that's what they like about this, is that it's not scripted, it's not, I don't want to say it's not purposeful. I mean, it's not purposeful. I mean, we show up with a main topic. We're going to talk about this today, and it might start there for like 15 seconds.
Sometimes it's
and then right into the ditch.
There's been a couple of times I'm behind the camera and I'm just laughing because you start things off and the two of you go, oh, well, today our topic is going to be this. And before you know it, like 30 seconds later, we've taken a hard left turn and the conversation never does come back.
No.
But, you guys still seem to make it feel very natural.
I love that it's almost been a game for me to be like, okay, we ended up here, but like, where did we start? How did we get off track onto this kind of thing, right?
And how am I going to pull it back?
Yeah.
Or not.
Well, even our last episode was intended to be like a holiday episode, but
We got there.
Googling body parts and their insurance values.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
But it's one of my favorite episodes now.
You didn't shy away from it at all, did you?
Oh, no. Hey, listen.
You shoved this out of the way, actually. I loved it.
I was like, it's my show now. Excuse me. It's Rob and Google. Out for coffee with Rob and Google.
Yeah. I was enjoying myself.
Yes. That was evident. But we loved it.
Yeah.
We've got some really good feedback, too. People love you, Rob.
Yes.
Oh, well.
People love Rob.
A good fan base.
They just don't know me very well.
But you have such a soothing voice, Rob. I've heard from more than one person, Rob could read me a bedtime story.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we'll just have to have a new segment.
Maybe.
Bedtime stories with Rob. That's coffee after dark.
There you go.
That's a very different.
That's a whole
That's a new
different. That's a whole different segment right there. Not to change the subject too drastically, but talk about things we recall. I recall the very first time we had a guest appear on the show, and that was Liz.
Liz was in a Van Meer.
Yeah, and Liz was, again, so accommodating, and, we were kind of finding our way, and she was right there, and, she was our first guest beyond sort of just other than just chatting.
And not just our first guest, but also in our first block of recording, because we do record a few episodes at a time.
Yeah.
Typically, yeah.
And she was in that first day where we were just getting our feet wet. So that was actually pretty ambitious to like invite somebody else in at that point. But we were really glad to have her.
Yeah, and that's been something. I mean, I know we talk about. I'm sure each of us have sort of different things we seem to enjoy about it, but one of the things I do enjoy is when we do have guests and talking to different people and getting to know, because all of the different guests we've had over the past year, because it's very conversational, and you learn things about people that you had no idea. Right. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I was going to say some. Probably several of the people that we had as guests this year I'd never met before. Mm-hmm. Right? I just never, I know you invite them because they're acquaintances of yours, or that kind of thing. But these were people I'd never met, and things you learn about people, and I think that's great. I thoroughly enjoyed that part of it.
And just like things outside of your comfort zone too, like like having our guest Tanya Thomas, the psychic, on twice.
I was going to say Tanya.
I think that's probably not. I don't know, Rob. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see you seeking out psychic advice.
It's not particularly my first go-to.
No, but I'm sure you learned something about Tanya
I absolutely did learn something.
And I bet you, I think a lot of people learn some things too, because it's a preconceived notion kind of topic. People are like, okay, she's wearing, I don't know, what do you say? Like you think of in the movies, right, with the big like the turbany type thing with the jewels and
like a full-on fortune teller
yes,
kind
that's
of
like a
vibe.
fortune teller look. Like, oh yeah, the long nails and the that thing from Big Zoltar.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like, ooh.
the machine.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people kind of have that in their mind if they don't really know. And I think Tanya
Yep.
was really great at dispelling that. Like, that's not
Sure.
really what it is.
Right. Well, and I think too that like for people that maybe they don't have an interest in something like that at all, or just very skeptical, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just an interesting opportunity to kind of see that other side of it all.
Literally.
And hear about it. Yeah.
The other
the other
side.
side.
Oh,
And get to
See
know
what I did there? Yeah.
There
bit of
we
what
go.
she does. So I'm going to throw it out there and say, too, that we're excited because Tanya is going to be coming to Theatre Woodstock.
Yes, she
When is she coming? April 1st?
April 1st.
April
That's
1st.
as of right
2022.
now. Who knows what Omicron and Delta and
Oh my goodness.
Whatever
Yes.
other-
All its friends.
Who knows?
But as of right now,
Yeah.
April
April
1st
1st,
at Theatre
Theatre
Woodstock,
Yes.
you can get a ticket. Come see Tanya do a live audience reading. It's I know we talked about it on the Tanya episodes, but to see it, because like we know most of the people in the audience a lot of the time. It's a lot of theater people and community and stuff.
She doesn't.
But she doesn't.
No. She's
not
And
from
but
here.
it's that's such an interesting perspective to have her kind of share things with people that you already know something about, and you can kind of see it through their eyes and hear it through their perspective a bit. And it's a very interesting evening. Even if you don't get a reading yourself, it's really cool to see how she does her craft and and helps people through the work she does. It's really incredible.
I hear she's got a really interesting opening act that night too.
Who is it?
Oh no.
So come see Laurie. She's opening for the show.
Okay.
No, Weeping Willows
Oh, wonderful! Which
Weeping
includes
You and
and Susie.
Susie.
from the
Yeah,
BFF
Susie.
episode.
Yeah, and Susie's husband Jay. We talked about Jay.
Yeah.
All right.
And my colleague and friend Dave DeYoung.
Yeah, who was supposed to be on for an episode, but
was-
summer
we're gonna get him.
holidays took over.
Summer holidays.
So we're gonna have Dave DeYoung on one day and his band of silly guys. They sing ridiculous songs. So stay tuned because I'm sure we'll have them on at some point as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
Good times to be had by most.
What has been? Have you guys had like a favorite episode, like one that you just like when you think Out for Coffee, it's like that episode?
Yeah, for me, I'm going to say Bernia at
Yeah.
your farm market. I just enjoyed the. Now again, you know, I have a unique perspective, if you will, because I'm behind the camera, and just to follow the three of you around the store with the camera, and to hear, again, back we talked about this already, but to hear that passion in her voice for her business, and she knows exactly what's going on. We've heard that from others as well,
Right.
you know, about what they're doing. But again, because it was new, I suppose, we hadn't done that kind of thing before.
Yeah.
And then just that I felt very, very good about being a part of providing this scenario where we were giving a platform to her to share her business and her passion for her business.
Right.
I thought that was very special.
Yeah, I agree. And what I also loved about that episode myself was because that was a whole new experience for all of us, like you in terms of technically setting it up and us being live in person interviewing somebody, because in person is so much different than Zoom, that it was interesting to welcome somebody else into that.
Right.
But
and there was sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say the part of it that I was kind of proud of us about, that I was actually the most nervous about, was when we were doing the store tour, because I was like, okay, how are we going to know not to have her back to the camera? And like just the like staging of it all, and just the way you worked around and got close-up shots of stuff, that it made it comfortable. And the fact that there's customers in the store,
That's
and I
what I
was
was
like,
gonna
oh
say
my
is
gosh,
that
we're going to be in their
navigate-
way, they're going to be in our way, and
No,
it really worked out.
There was a
was
lot of other things going on. It just all kind of flowed together. Yeah.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
The same thing about the customers.
Yeah.
Just the fact that we were first time live somewhere, interviewing live during business hours. Like this was not.
Even the noise, I'm like,
Just
well, there's
the
going to be
ambient-
people being run through cash, and like,
Sure.
what
Yeah.
are we going to
Sure.
hear? and Tech Wizard Rob took care of it all. It was just like
Worked out
happened the way we needed
it
to.
did
Right?
work out very
But
well.
that kind of made it cool too, the vibe of being there during
And
action
like
times.
hearing
Right.
it, but it wasn't so much that it was overwhelming that that's
Right.
all you could hear.
Yeah.
But that cash register was a ringing because they were busy.
It is.
So,
They
yeah.
were. It is a very busy place, actually. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
Well, I was going to ask you what your favorite was.
Oh, it's silly that I would ask that question and not have something mentally prepared to share. I think the YFM episode does stand out to me because that was kind of our first, like, our first stepping out of our comfort zone, really.
Yes.
Because the good thing about those earlier episodes where it was just us, it was, certainly stepping out of our comfort zone, doing something different, but it was very comfortable to step out of our comfort zone when it was just us. And we could be silly and screw something up or say the wrong thing, and it was fine because it was us. So to welcome somebody else into that was kind of like our first step, and then we kind of went, oh, all right, this worked.
works.
We can make this happen. And it kind of like made me believe in ourselves a little differently. I've obviously believed in ourselves from the beginning, but like it was just kind of like, all right, we're on to something. We can do this. So that was kind of a very special episode for me. The BFF episode was one of my favorites too because it was really nice to do it outside,
Yes.
but to have such wonderful friends with us because like I've known Susie, but like I haven't known Susie. I would know her to see her, but now it's like I feel like Susie and I are friends, and like it was wonderful to bond with somebody.
Susie doesn't think so.
No, she's like, oh my god, that guy.
That's right.
who?
But to like make a friend through this, I think was really wonderful, and obviously to share that moment with Alyssa too is meaningful to me.
That was my first time meeting Alyssa.
Yes.
I had never met, I've heard of Alyssa
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
all the time.
time.
But to actually put a face to the name and to start connecting some stories that I've heard, and now Alyssa and I are friends on Facebook.
Look at that! I see her liking
go.
all your stuff.
Yep.
Laughing up a storm.
We're Facebook friends.
Very good.
I have to say there's something about each episode that I love.
Right.
But I'm going to take a different route here
Okay.
and say, as much as I love having guests, and I do, I love when we share that. Maybe I'm just a little nostalgic for the olden days of earlier in the year. My favorite episodes, I think, are the ones where it's just the three of us,
Yep.
just having that, and I like it on Zoom. I don't know why, I just like the Zoom vibe. I love getting together, but there's just something about watching those episodes where it's just those three squares.
Yeah.
And although I think one of my favorites is the sibling rivalry
Yeah, that was a good one.
and the creepy crawlies one.
Oh, we got a lot of really fun feedback about creepy crawlies. The amount of people who have had bats in their house
Right?
is insane.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Everybody's got a story to share with us after.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Something
I'm
like
sure,
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I was telling Rob earlier, I like to listen as well as watch each
Right.
episode.
Right.
I like to listen to them. I'm doing a lot of cooking this year, obviously. Oh, God. I need an intervention. Anyway, and so while I'm in the kitchen,
Yeah.
I have my little Bose machine going there.
Yeah.
And I, one day, started listening to us. Because that's how narcissistic I am. Started listening to us, like from beginning show to most recent.
You're right.
And I was killing myself laughing, thinking, okay, this is a very different experience just listening than when you get a chance to sit and watch.
It is very
And
different.
I don't know which one I like better.
Interesting. I typically watch because I like to. I just like to sit and watch, and I take notes. So we'll watch an episode just to review it before it goes out, just to make sure nothing went in that wasn't supposed to, which we haven't come across yet. So that's good.
Well, that's yes.
But it also gives us a chance to
Yet.
set up our this week we discuss photos,
Well,
which
that's
I've
fun.
also we've gotten really fun feedback about.
Yeah.
That kind of out of context, those images, and it's like, what could that possibly mean? And then you watch the episode and you're like, oh, it makes
There it
sense
is.
now.
Yeah.
Like the rolled up dollar bills this past week with
With the
legs.
sexy legs on it, yeah.
If you
What does
if
that
you're
mean?
just looking at it, you're like, what the hell could they possibly be talking about with this? Stay tuned, you'll find out.
Yeah. So and it's actually been pretty fun to kind of come up with those too, because some of them are just like easy. It's a photo representing what it is, but some of them are like take some work to like edit it together to make it, represent what we want it to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been like a little arts and crafts time for me. So I'll like make those notes. Laurie sends tons of photos, and I kind of incorporate her photos with my ideas to kind of bring those together. And that's been kind of a fun little side project of all this that I never thought would have been a thing. But I think it's quite fun, and I think our audience quite likes. So when you're talking, we have video and we have podcasts. We're actually learning, now that we're like a year in, that people are like, I don't have time to watch it. Because it's like, that's a lot of time. That is a lot of time
Sure
to sit
is.
down and watch something for that long. But it's like, check us out. We're on Spotify. We're on Google. We're on, what are some of the
Apple
other?
Music.
Apple Music. We're on them all.
Well, Apple. Well, it'll come to me. Apple Podcasts.
That was really difficult to
Apple. Sorry, there's a glitch in the matrix here. Hang on.
So you can just listen, but if you want to kick back and sit with us, you can also, we watch this on Facebook and on YouTube, we put it out there. So lots of ways that you can enjoy it for coffee.
While you're driving in your car.
Yeah.
While you're cooking in the kitchen.
Sure, why not?
While you're at the gym on the little stepper there.
I wish. I need to.
While you're walking your dog.
What else can you do
I don't know.
while listening to for coffee?
While you're doing yard work.
Okay, you keep working on that list. So, Rob.
Whole list.
So you mentioned something interesting because, again, something a lot of people may or may not be aware, that typically when it comes time to record episodes, we'll get together, whether we do it on Zoom or a location, and sometimes it's we're not in a specific location. Like a couple of weeks ago, we were at the new location for Early Bird Coffee.
Right.
But sometimes that location is right here at the dining room table.
Yeah.
And
It's episode number 2 here.
yeah, but we'll take time and quite often record more than one episode at a time. And a lot of that has to do with just setting up all this equipment. And blah blah blah. So it makes it easier. But then one of the things I always try to do, because we publish these episodes every second week, is several days in advance, I try to make sure that you guys get that advanced copy so that you can have a chance to review things.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm kind of happy to say we haven't had that 911 call. Oh, Rob, you got to take that out of there. We can't do that. You got to take that out.
There was a bit of a moment with the
There
Back
was a-
Pocket episode where
there
Laurie's
was a-
like, maybe not yet,
there was
maybe
a
one day,
moment.
but she wasn't there yet. So, but that's why we're lucky we record a few in a row, so that we're like, okay, let's just back that one. We'll go on
Shelve
to the
that
next
one.
one.
That'll be the anniversary edition or something.
Maybe
That'll
we'll
be
see.
the DVD. The director's cut.
The bonus features.
So we do. Suffice to say, we do try to, take some time and have what do we call it? A level of quality control, maybe.
What's that? I don't know.
very
You deal with
small-
that. I got
Yeah,
quality
whatever.
over here, or no control.
I have impulse
But
control issues.
it's all part of the process, and I think as you said earlier, all of these different little components to that process. It's not just a case of, oh well, let's just sit down and talk to so and so, and away we go.
Yeah, right.
There's a fair bit goes into behind the scenes,
And some things are beyond our control.
oh, absolutely,
Like when we had the Halloween episode here with Tanya.
yeah.
I'd just like to mention how quiet my dog is tonight.
He's chill, man.
Yeah, the dog is
He's cozy.
he's quite happy.
Chilling
He's
out
excited,
beside Rob here.
Oh,
He's,
yeah.
he's doing that
Uncle
side
Harry's like-
lie.
Look at him, that's a perfect little kitten right
The
here.
dogs or the cats.
Zool
You wouldn't
is
know
somewhere.
he tore my finger up
Cat's quite
2
happy.
seconds before we recorded. Maybe it was on the beginning of this. I actually don't know. He hurt my finger. Now look at him. He's so cute. You can't be mad at him
He's
anymore.
so cute. He's not even real. He's taxidermy.
But yeah, you're right. When Tanya was here that night, the dog,
dog.
kept barking at everything that walked past the street.
walking
And he
past and
paced.
walking
And
past and
paced.
walking
Oh, man. Now, I talked to Tanya after about
Yep.
that. And she said it definitely had to do with the energy
Oh wow!
that was in here that night.
Wow.
That, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's somebody stirring it up, which
be.
does not surprise me. Because any other time, he's pretty chill.
Well, that was the click clack of his nails. Also, you forgot to feed him for like a while. So that one's on you.
Flip it out on me.
He was a little hungry.
It's like, what is his problem? Oh, he's starving. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he looks like he's
Poor
starving,
dog.
doesn't he? Yeah,
So there's that. There's also, I remember in our early days, he was, when you're down in your basement, his collar's just jiggling up the
This.
storm. Yeah, the whole. Take off his collar. Just take it
It's
off.
like, what?
That's an option?
Take off his collar? Well, that would just be smart. And easy.
Oh, God.
Add these to the list of things we've learned.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know why I was doing it in the basement to begin with.
I don't know.
Well,
you were setting yourself up down there for, I don't know, just to be out of the way maybe? Or
Well, Emily was here.
Yeah.
So I think just kind of give that, she usually hang out in her bedroom because where else would a teenager hang out? But she had her dog too at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So just
you're
trying to make sure,
just to stay out the way.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's down in the basement.
Yeah.
It worked out okay.
Yeah. And, for the most part, on Zoom, you really can't tell. Zoom, anyway.
Well, and then I was doing my episodes from the closet because I
Oh,
figured,
my gosh.
hey, it's out of the way.
That
for
was-
How
when
many
Kevin
people
was
asked
home.
me about
That was
why
so
Mike's staying in the closet?
funny. That
But
was
it's
so
like,
funny.
I thought it would be
busy.
quiet. Like the
Yeah. Oh, no,
clothes would
I-
absorb the reverb.
I get you.
And,
But I have to admit, the backdrop of the
All the shirts.
psychedelic shirts, the lineup of colors,
right.
all the colors of the
right.
shirts
yeah.
was
water bottle.
it was unique, Mike.
There we go. I can live with that.
If nothing else, it was unique.
Well, and now everyone
Yeah.
can say they've been in my closet. They know
There
what it
you
looks
are.
like.
And
They can see all the clothes I don't wear.
They
I
see-
wear like those
they
3 of
see
those
you
shirts.
in and out of the closet.
There you go.
How's that? We'll do
That works. So, and then I realized,
Wow. Ba-dum-bum.
Wow.
but then I realized it's like I really don't need to be in here, I guess. And then I moved out to the table in the dining room, and then it's like, oh, the camera. I was able to lift my stuff up higher, so it's like, oh, where my double chin's gone. And it's
Yeah,
like, oh, I
yeah.
should have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's again, there's that whole list of things we've learned, but they say that you got to lift that laptop up because the camera on the laptop is like shooting up your nose kind of thing. It's a terrible, and hey, live and learn.
Yeah, it very much is a live and learn.
Yeah.
It's been a great year though.
It's
It
been
has been an excellent year.
a wonderful year.
Yeah.
It's been-
I'm really looking forward to, what we come up with for the following year.
Yeah. We've got some big plans for 2022.
I know, not to let the cat out the bag, but I know you guys have already done a fair bit of homework in terms of, potential guests that might show up on the show this year.
They're lined
which would
up, baby.
That would be wonderful. And, I know you're always, every time I talk to you, you're always on about, we've got this great idea for a show.
Which I actually, when I came in, if you weren't in the middle of like crazy busy work mode
Right.
and setting everything up, I have an idea.
There you go.
I want to share with you
Yes.
about next Santa Claus parade. So maybe we'll see.
That chin stroker.
Oh, there you go.
But
But I think I like that about our energy
it's funny.
too. And like,
Okay, let's talk about that because the Santa Claus parade, a buddy of mine, who is we use the same software and camera setup and whatnot, and so we're part of this common, Facebook chat groups and whatnot.
Right.
And he just did Santa Claus parade where he's at, and he's just down the road. I won't mention the city, but he's not that far away. And he did their Santa Claus parade. And wow, he did a bang up job.
Oh,
It was
yeah?
excellent.
oh, I'd love
And
to
I'm
see
going,
that.
Oh, we can do that. That works.
Oh, cool.
There's a lot of stuff you can do there. So yeah.
Well, and I think that's what I like
ideas.
about us is that we're kind of a blue sky trio here. Like we're always like open to the silly ideas, even when I'm like, this isn't going to go anywhere, but like let's talk about it because sometimes it spreads a little
Well, you never know.
seedling somewhere else into
That's
something
right.
else, and
That's
it's
right. Yeah.
allows us to.
Yeah.
So I think that having us as a group has been cool that way. I love that we've all been really good with like. How do I say this? Like, we check our ego at the door in a way, right? Like,
Yeah,
I know we like joke around about it, Laurie, and stuff, but like, in all reality,
Wow.
in all honesty, when we sit down and we talk about things, it's not about any one of us. It's about how can we grow together and do new things together. And I think that it's really brought us together in a cool way it's fun to imagine. and brainstorm about other things we can do, even if we know we're not getting to them. It's just fun to talk about.
Oh, we'll get there. We're going to get there.
Laurie will get us there.
Hey,
I'll use my feminine wiles.
No, is
I
that
don't
what
know.
you're doing with
Do I
that?
have wiles? It sounds like wild.
Yeah, dust them off, take them out of the closet.
It's been a while.
it's been a while.
God, I love this grape juice.
Jeez. It's great stuff.
Yeah, my fruit punch is almost out.
Oh, no.
And I think it's obvious because I'm starting to feel the fruit punch a little bit here. We'll see.
You get a little pink.
Well, suffice to say, there are lots of great opportunities, I think, ahead of us.
Yeah.
And what's what we could possibly look forward to in the next year rundown, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm just so thankful for all
I
of
think it'll be a lot of fun.
those folks who have embraced this.
Yes, yeah.
And
All
whether
those
you're
people
listening-
who are following,
Yeah.
online, all the different platforms. There's a whole ton of people.
Well,
And thank you very much, all of you, for being
you
part
know
of
who
it.
you are.
Yes, thank
Because
you.
we just kind of started doing this kind of for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Has nothing
Yeah,
to do with you. But thank you for coming along because now you're part of this. So join us.
It's like everybody's
Thank you for
eavesdropping.
joining.
You know,
That's right. Yeah.
neurosis.
But I think it's been like really, it's been a great for stuff like that. And I think too, there's like, you got kind of both sides of it. You get the people that check in every single episode we have. They're waiting for it to come out. That one particular week where maybe the episode didn't go out the way it was meant to because scheduling didn't work out right on our platforms. We're getting messages of people saying, "Hey, can't wait to see the episode. Where is it? Oh, okay, let's get on there." So thank you. But also there's the people who, life is busy and they haven't had a chance to, and then finally they get around to listening to an episode, and then it's just the feedback they've given us on it has been so wonderful that they need to binge it now. And so their whole day is Mike and Laurie because they're running around running errands and stuff like that, and they listen to it.
Sure.
There's some beautiful things in both sides of that, and I don't know. Like Laurie's saying, we're very much doing this because we want to and because we have some fun things to share amongst ourselves. But we are so grateful to our audience for supporting us and making this, fun for us and giving us things to consider, and people wanting to join us as guests is a pretty amazing thing as well.
Yeah.
Let's actually do that while we're talking to all the fans. If you want to be part of Mike and Laurie's show, by all means reach out. Send us an email. We splash all that stuff all over the place. You can get them on Facebook and all different platforms. But let us know. Let us know. Give us a shout because.
I think at some point we're going to have to go weekly.
Well, that may happen too.
Yeah.
It's just. We have talked about that this past year, didn't we?
Yeah.
We've talked about it a couple times.
It's been asked for.
Yeah.
It's actually been asked for a lot.
But at one point it was kind of like, we're going to go weekly, and then 6 weeks down the road we're going to run out of stuff. So.
Yeah, because there's also I do like the comfort in knowing that with it being bi-weekly that it's like you do have a moment to rest and enjoy your weekend and not worrying about the scheduling and getting it all ready and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like we got a lot to say.
Yeah.
We got a lot to share.
Remember, really early on, this past year when we were just getting started, before we actually showed the first episode. I think we talked about, maybe this would be something we do once a month.
Right.
And we kind of came up with a bit of a compromise, shall we say, between once a month and once every week.
Right.
And we did every other week. But it's been I think it's been a good test. We'll see this year. And that it might well change. Who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah. One of the fun things
We
for
might
me.
have to hire a whole staff.
That's right.
Hire.
Yeah, with all our
This is
millions
free.
of dollars we made off of this.
If we're working for free, you're working
We
for
will
free.
pay you in pee? No, that's beer. We'll pay you in beer.
What?
We were talking earlier about how that looked
No,
like
it's
pee.
apple
we
juice.
weren't.
It's
Do we
apple
not?
juice.
No,
it's
apple juice.
It's an apple juice, Mike.
No, because you said he needed to change his diet. Okay, I'll finish off my drink. I'm done
For
talking
those
now.
just listening,
Yikes.
I'm exaggerating winking at the
okay.
camera right now.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, Mike, I did make reference to that being a
Okay, all right. I'm like, did I just
concentrated
pull
urine
that?
sample.
Yeah.
This is how we want
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
But
Your
I'll tell you
samples,
what,
there you go.
if we decide to go weekly, Mike's not having any more fruit punch, I'll tell you that. He's going to be cut off from his fruit punch.
What I was going to say was,
Yes, what were we gonna say?
one thing that was really fun for me, it's happened to me a couple of times now, where I will be out somewhere and someone will come up and introduce themselves to me. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. And they're like, yeah, well, you're Laurie from Mike and Laurie. I'm like,
Oh.
yes, I am. Thanks for watching. And that's such a cool thing.
It's pretty.
Sure.
It's pretty neat to have that happening. And what I think I like about
doing that.
our audience is that half the audience is Laurie people and half the audience is Mike people, and it's like gave us an opportunity to introduce to our people.
Have your people call my people.
Yeah.
Right.
There you are.
So no, but
By the way, I don't have any people.
Rob, you don't have people?
I don't have
Rob,
people.
have some
No,
people.
I don't have people.
No people? Oh.
we're your people.
I think
Well, that's true.
Okay,
You are my people.
2022 goals. Get Rob some people.
Yeah, little does Rob know is actually none of them are here to see us. They're all here to see
That's
him.
right. I just want you to read some stuff, Rob. Yeah. Rob's ASMR. It's your own business, Rob. It's Rob reading the phone book.
Yikes.
Yikes indeed.
Well, do I
But
get up and do I go get a new drink?
I'll go get a new drink.
I think that
Not making
now
it.
is probably a time to.
Are we getting the
to
time
say-
from Rob? Is it
Well, I
time?
think time is probably about right.
But
Let's end on the same note.
yeah. So, but
Here's
cheers.
to next year.
To next
To a good year we've had and a good year to come.
Cheers.
2022?
Cheers.
All right.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for coming out for coffee with Mike, Laurie, and Rob.
And grape juice.
Bye, guys.
Do you have questions, comments, or ideas for a future show? Reach out to Mike and Laurie on their social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or email us at mikeandlauriesocials@gmail.com.